Hey, grade 12. Hi. All right, so September 17th is complete. So congratulations. Things are going quite well. Appreciate your feedback too. And, I'm just sharing uh, what I know historically in regards to Animal Farm and trying to make those correlations. And of course, if you have another correlation or things like that that will help with the comprehension of this novel, then please share it. And some of you have done that already, so thank you very much. Makes the study of this novel a little more interesting and more engaging. So I hope you find that. Here's our recap. We had the Animal Farm, Chapter 5. This is part 1 of the climax. I'll go over the summary notes in just a sec. And then we switched to Walter Mitty, and I'll bring those questions up on screen as well. And then gave you some time to work on your in-class essay for the stereotypes. Some of you have already handed that in. Thank you for that. And others were working on shooting an elephant. That's due on Monday. And Cola Conquest, your advertisement or commercial, that's due on October 2nd, I believe is. If sounds about right. And the research paper is September 30th. Okay, so you've got some dates coming up there, and then of course our in-class requirements. Okay, so let's get to chapter 5. So I'm just going to move that up there and current slide. There we go. Okay, so chapter 5, loyalties, question, conflicted beliefs and values, coercion and force, and fear factor. Full of things there, lots of things going on, and it's part 1 of the climax. So as I stated in class, Molly, very narcissistic. She likes the ribbons, like the human decorations, things like that. She was confronted by Clover about loyalties, and that scared her. And of course, she said she was dedicated to Animal Farm when in fact she wasn't. She disappeared and nobody talked about her ever again. So then it was decided the pigs are going to make all the decisions. And so the animals, of course, they don't like that, but they don't know how to articulate that. And so if you're not educated, up to date, or keep yourself up to date with the changes going on, of course, it can be difficult for you to articulate your disagreement or displeasure or whatever with the changes. And unfortunately, they'll make the changes, and you have to go along with it. Okay, so you conform. And so we've seen that in history from various different leaders around in time, where they have used democracy as a tool to get the votes, to give the impression they have the freedom that they have. But then once they're able to persuade and place people in certain positions, so they know that when they go to stage 2 or step number 2, with the big plan that they have, they can go ahead without any debate or discussion or whatever. And if the people do complain about it, well, it's too late. You voted for it. So now I can make these changes, and because it was democratically voted for. And then once changes are made, then you can alter the democratic process and turn it into communism or fascism or some other form of governing outside democracy. We had Snowball and Napoleon, again, 2 sides of the coin, 2 different opinions, and factions started to develop. So one faction for Snowball, one for Napoleon, and Napoleon was placing people in key positions so that he can have his support, and because he had a plan, and we'll find out what that is. Snowball talked about improvements for the farm, and Napoleon said, no, we should be doing some other things like arming ourselves, protecting ourselves. So very divisive point here. And so we have a divided group. Then when it looked like Snowball was going to get this full support from the animals, Napoleon squeals, and out comes 9 big dogs chasing after Snowball and exiling him. And those 9 dogs were those 9 puppies that were taken away after birth and educated and weaned by Napoleon. So now they are loyal to Napoleon. So think of it, those dogs, as a military power. And so we had that coup d'etat, or internal revolution, or political upheaval, forcing the population to become conquered, and it's very quick, right? And they use the fear of the dogs. And like, if you're going to say something that's contrary to what we're doing right now, hey, look at these dogs here. They're ready to pounce on you and deal with you accordingly. So and of course, propaganda, the way it's presented or promoted, Squealer does a pretty good job of twisting things to make it sound logical. And of course, again, education is important. If you're not educated or up to speed on things, then of course you don't know. You can't say Squealer's wrong because it makes sense of what he's talking about. So, or it's just way out there that you can't. You don't know how to respond to it. So why even bother? And especially when you have these dogs growling and, you know, basically forcing you to agree with what with the changes that are occurring. And they were pretty quick. Twisting of facts take place. We have a new maxim, number 4. Napoleon's always right, and that's said by Boxer. And the windmill project will proceed, even though Napoleon scoffed at the idea. Originally, he says it'll now go ahead, and it was his idea from the start. Okay, so who's to question that? Nobody will question it, and there's no proof. Maybe it was Napoleon's idea right from the start. And Squealer says, well, they'll find out. There'll be some evidence that will be produced later on that says that Napoleon was the one that came up with the idea, and Snowball stole it from Napoleon. So we'll see what happens with that in chapter 6 and 7. So there you go. And then I'm just going to bring up Walter Mitty. So we are looking at, this is in your course outline booklet, and already gave you the Life magazine motto. It's right at the beginning, and it's also in the wallet, and it was on the runway just before I pressed pause. Your job is to identify the quintessence of life, that perfect moment, you know, that moment that just everything just flowing perfectly for Walter, Cheryl, and John. Just one example each. And then on your final part of this assignment is, what is your quintessence of life? You may have had a few already. Just choose one, and that's shared between you and me. That perfect moment, that peace, time of peace and tranquility and things like that, and share that in that third part there. Okay, so that is that assignment, and I'm going to set that up on Google Classroom for probably Monday or Tuesday of next week. So we'll see probably Tuesday, since we have an assignment due Monday. Okay, so other than that, I've already listed the other requirements. The homework board has everything for you as well. And aside from that, Yoda quotes have been marks have been updated on Google Classroom, so everybody has that in. Actually, no one has not submitted it. Like, we've had everybody submit everything, so keep it up, okay? And I'll update your marks after the stereotype assignment has been marked, and we can see where you are percentage-wise, okay? Until tomorrow, take care, be safe.